Hey Raiders! Today is May 8th, 2023, and you're watching RioTV. Today we learn about the urgency of climate change, watch some student-made videos recognized by the SIVA Awards, and finally, listen to some opinions about if it's ever okay to be rude. Enjoy! Did you know that in Idaho, all mentions of human-caused climate change are banned from school curriculum? A New York Times article reveals that many states across the US have banned climate education. This shocking information outrages many students, one of these individuals being Jasmine Walton, a student producer who created an opinion piece regarding this issue. Let's see what she has to say.
Climate change is a very serious issue facing the world at this time. It is important that people are educated as to what this means for people now and future generations to come. Therefore, I strongly believe that teaching about climate change is very important, if not crucial, to the advancement of everybody in these future generations. No matter the political stance or belief, all students should be aware of what is going on around them, especially if it affects them, or will if we keep our ignorance up to it. Environmental issues are such a big deal, and it is our job as humanity to take care of the earth that has given us so much. The last thing we want to do is ignore its cries for help seen all around the world. It is happening. Climate change refers to the long-term shifts in temperature and weather patterns, and has countless amounts of evidence and information. So why would it not be taught in schools? Since it is not a political issue at all, there is truly no reason as to why it should not be taught about in schools. I understand that it may not be needed in every science classroom, but if it is brought up in relation to a topic being learned, or in the news, or the topic itself, I definitely think that it should be learned and taught about. I think that students should learn the basics, anything that they personally want to know, the natural and human causes to global warming and climate change, and the solutions, because it is a current problem. To not educate is to close your eyes and pretend that it does not exist. It does exist, and it will have devastating effects on the world if not addressed. I also think with post-secondary education getting harder and harder to reach for the youth, it is important that we teach about things that we need to know, such as climate change.
Our Rio students submitted numerous videos to the SIVA Awards, 11 of which became finalists, 2 of which won honorable mentions, and 3 of which won the SIVA Awards. The 2023 Creative Expression SIVA Award was awarded to Kaser and Naya Wynn, 2 Rio students who were able to convey a powerful message in a video just over a minute long regarding the enormous amount of stress that adolescents face, as well as the importance of parental and community support. Take a moment to learn about this challenge in their video entitled The Pressure Cooker.
Finally home. No time to waste. Eat the food and get to work. It looks like you have a lot to do.
Today was a day. Apps are coming, finals are coming, APs are coming. It feels like a heavy mountain that I can't get out from under.
Well, here's a snack. Sitting here doesn't get it done. I'm here to help with the weight of the mountain. You're not alone. I remember being a kid. It's a balancing act. Tell me about it.
With the recent increase in the use of artificial intelligence, many new questions about its impact are formed every single day. In a SIVA-nominated documentary, Rio student producer Angelina Souza explores the potential for bias in artificial intelligence and what this means for the future of AI.
Artificial intelligence, a technology that has the power to revolutionize the way we live and work. But as AI becomes more prevalent in our society, one question is becoming increasingly important. Is artificial intelligence biased?
I talked to PhD researcher student Pat at MIT about the rise of AI, and here's what he had to say.
Yeah, So the kind of AI that we see right now, I mean, right now we're living in the world where every day we see new advancement in AI technologies, and specifically in the area of generative AI or AI that can generate information, either image, text, video, audio, all kind of information, right? And when you have an AI that can generate almost anything in a very short period of time, it allows people to get response or information at their fingertip. Many times this AI can generate something that are very very convincing.
Yes, it may sound convincing, but this answer may be biased. And as young students, we are the future decision makers who will shape the way AI is used in our society. But before we dive deeper into the world of AI, it's crucial to understand the potential biases that can be presented in AI systems.
You can ask, a language model like ChatGPT or GPT-3 any question, and it will always come up with answer that seems correct or sounds very sophisticated and sounds like something that an expert would say, even though this model have no real understanding of the world. It's just learning statistic from being trained on a large number of information, like huge data set on the internet.
One of the biggest concerns about AI is that it may be biased. This is because AI systems are only as unbiased as the data they are trained on. An example of AI being biased could be it being compared to a Google search. When you ask AI and Google the same question, AI will generate one answer, while Google will provide you with many different sources for answers from many different points of views.
So there are many ways to use AI. Right now, I think because this is a new technology and people are still figuring out what is the best way to use it, there is a movement, I think, to try to ban this technology from high school or from education. Like, just don't use it, block it from high school internet network or whatever. That, I mean, could help in the short term while we are figuring out how to deal with this. But in the long term, the student, the parent, everyone that are, in our generation, we're gonna grow up and we're gonna, continue our life in the era where we have this technology. They're not going to go away, and the capability going to keep increasing. So we should educate the student and people of the future to be able to use these technology for their own benefit.
By learning about how to create unbiased algorithms, we can ensure that AI systems we create in the future are fair to all individuals. It is important to remember that AI is not a magic solution. It's just a tool that can be used to make decisions. And like any tool, it can be used for good or bad. As future leaders in the AI industry, it's our responsibility to use AI ethically and responsibly. By understanding the potential biases in AI and taking steps to reduce them, we can ensure that the future of AI is inclusive and fair for all.
Recently, after an incident between board members in a town meeting, the Massachusetts Supreme Judicial Court reaffirmed the residents' right to be rude. But the question is raised, when is it okay to be rude? How often should people use this right? Let's hear what students had to say.
Rudeness has been around since the beginning of time.
In general, you should try your best to stray away from being rude and uncivil to others.
Greeting others with politeness is considered common courtesy, but what if somebody treats another with disrespect? Is it okay to be rude when it's warranted?
Is there a line that should not be crossed? And if so, where is it?
Everyone in the world is going to be rude to you.
I think it should be a constitutional right to be rude, although I think there should be limits.
A line that I feel like should definitely not be crossed, though, is discriminatory remarks relating to things like racism, homophobia, sexism, and others.
I think that in everyday life, you have the right to be rude.
If something is happening that you are against, you should be able to put your own opinion out there.
If you need to voice your opinion in an argument, sometimes you just need to be rude and uncivil to get your point across.
But when they start attacking you personally, trying to hate on you or hate on your beliefs, that's when it starts to become bullying or when it becomes wrong.
It's so hard to enforce rules on rudeness. Everybody's experience is so much different. Everyone's opinion of nice and not nice differs just because of how we interact with the world.
Rudeness is completely opinion-based, and it is all in the eye of the beholder.
Life experiences may lead people to developing a sensitivity to something that seems ordinary to another person.
In a situation where you've got the general public in a room talking about issues, not everybody knows as much as they think they do, and if you're rude and ignorant, that's unhelpful.
If you're in a class and your teacher is being belligerently unkind or a statement is made that you don't agree with, I think you are allowed to speak on it.
When in school, it may be hard to get your point across with somebody of higher power. For example, in school arguments, a student may insult a teacher and the student may be sent to the office as their punishment. This may cause less students to argue with teachers because they are afraid of the consequences they may receive.
School is a setting for learning as well as learning how to communicate with others, and if freedom of speech is allowed in the world, then it should be permitted in the classroom.
In a conversation, you shouldn't try to hurt the other person's feelings.
I don't think a teacher should be rude to a student. I feel like the teacher should be an adult and figure out the situation and see where the student's coming from and where the teacher's coming from and just figure it out in the classroom.
If a student is rude to a teacher, the teacher has a right to be rude back, but morally, as an educator, they should probably take more responsibility because they are a grown adult interacting with a student who is still mentally and emotionally developing.
Maintaining a standard of civility in a setting where everyone's voice is meant to be heard makes sense, just because you don't want to interrupt the process of bettering your community or bettering your society.
That's a wrap on this episode of RioTV. With final season approaching, make sure you're getting enough sleep, drinking enough water, and passing your exams. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.